So welcome back, and this week it is looking like it is going to be the last time that we see my two incredibly cheap motorbikes on this channel, because I've actually agreed to sell them. Well, sort of, but we'll get to that in a minute. So it's been about a week since I got the news from the MOT tester about just how bad these cheap bikes really are. And now that I've got them off the van, I can actually show you how bad the damage is on the Yamaha, because I really didn't show you the full extent of the damage in the last video. And obviously you'll be able to see now why I've gone with the decision to not repair the bike and to sell it. So obviously all along the swing arm, you can see that that is body filler. If you look down in there, there's actually a big hole full of where they've used body filler, where that plastic panel has been bouncing off the swing arm, is just chipped and chipped away. So how much body filler is actually in that swing arm, I have no idea. And then obviously it's the same story on the other side. This is actually cracked and it's been repaired with body filler. Then when you get down to the frame, you know, there's filler there. Underneath, it's just filler, filler, and more filler. So what that is actually covering up, I have no idea. How much metal is down there, I'm really not sure. There's just a lot of filler. There's actually a crack over this side as well, so whether that's metal or more filler, I am not entirely sure. So hopefully that gives you a bit more of an understanding of the extent of the damage on this, on the frame and the swing arm on this bike, and why I've taken the decision to sell it. You know, when the MOT tester, you know, really ran me through it, he really laid it on thick, and he really made it sound like, you know, it's not really repairable without a new frame. You know, as much as I would love to give it a go, you know, I don't think trying to weld it when I've never welded anything before, you know, on my driveway, which is not the best environment for welding as far as I can tell, you know, I really don't think that's the right option. So I have gone with the decision to sell the Yamaha, and I've actually already got a buyer for it. So when I decided I was going to sell it, I put it up on Facebook, I took some nice pictures of it, I made sure everybody knew what was wrong with it and that it had been for an MOT and it wasn't really repairable. So I really wanted to be as transparent as possible. Now, I thought I'd put it up for a fair price. I put $495 on it, which obviously makes me a nice bit of money on top, because I mean, I paid what, £102, £104 for this thing, and asking $495, I thought it gives me a bit of wiggle room. If somebody makes me a good offer, you know, anything over $350, then, you know, I'm still quids in. I've done a bit of learning along the way, and I'm more than broke even. So, you know, that's where I went with. And I actually got a buyer, you know, really nice guy, totally understood the situation, and he paid the full asking price of $495, and he's also paid me on top to deliver it to him. So I'm just going to round it up and call it 500 quid. That is what I got for the Yamaha, and I'm about to load it in the van and drop it down to him this morning, because he's only about 45 minutes away, and it saves him having to come back with a trailer and leaving it sit here for a few days. So as much as I like this Yamaha, I mean, £500 is not a bad result. I paid 102 or 104, I can't remember now which one it was. You know, I spent 30 quid on a new lock set. I cleaned the carb and got it running for free. So, you know, in theory, the bike only owes me in total maybe 135 quid, or 160 if you include, or 150 if you include the cost of the MOT. So to get 500 quid for it is really not bad going at all. So it puts me in profit, and I can roll that back over into the channel. And then we'll get to the Lexmoto in a minute, but for now I'm going to get that loaded in Vivian over there, and we're going to get her dropped off. And with the Yamaha in and all strapped down, that is goodbye to the Yamaha. So that leaves me with the Lexmoto. Now, the MOT was not too bad on this one. I mean, I needed new tyres and tyre valves. You know, that was something that has to be done. Obviously the rear brakes was seized. I have unseized that, but the brake light switch doesn't seem to be working, so it would need a new one of them, and he did recommend that I change the chain and sprocket, because the chain was tightening as it was going round in certain places. So he said new chain and sprocket. So I mean, those are all things that I can do, but I thought, well, while I've put the Yamaha up for sale, I may as well test the water and see what sort of money I can get for the Lexmoto instead of putting any more money into it, because I'd about to put, say, another 130 quid into the Lexmoto to get it through the MOT, and well, you know, the bike's only worth maybe 400 to 500 quid with the full MOT, whereas right now I thought I'll test the water, ask 295 and see what sort of offers I can get. And I've been getting a lot of offers around 250 quid, which is not bad. It means I make about 120 quid on this, you know, after parts, buying the bike and the cost of an MOT. You know, it only owes me about 130 quid. But then I had an offer for a swap. Now in my mind, the offer for the swap seemed like a good idea. It seemed too good to be true, which usually if it is too good to be true, or sounds too good to be true, then it is too good to be true. But I'm a bit of a gambling man, so I thought, let's hear them out, let's see what they want to do. And you'll see what I am potentially swapping this bike for in just a minute. Now before I show you what I'm swapping the bike for, I do just want to apologise to all my viewers for me not being able to take these bikes 100% of the way. Now I could take the Lexmoto all the way through the MOT and totally finish the project, but for what I've been offered to swap it for, I just think it seems a better option than me putting some new wheels and tyres on this and changing the sprocket set. Because I mean, changing the sprocket might be good content. I've never done that before. That would have been a good bit of learning, but you know, a swap means a new project, you know, totally changing direction, and it's a much bigger bike. So, I mean, obviously I'm not in the situation where I can take the Yamaha forward, so that one does have to go. So, yeah, let's go see what I've been offered to swap. So as most of you will have worked out from those short clips, this is a Suzuki Bandit. It is a 600cc, it's 2003, it's got 36,000 miles on the clock, and somehow I managed to swap my 125 Lexmoto for this beast. I think it's safe to say that's a bit of an upgrade. This bike is not without its problems, we'll take a look at that in just a second, but I mean, I really think that is trading up. I mean, I don't know if you'll agree with me. It's a bit of a gamble, but I think I've come out all right there. The first things that I know is wrong with this bike is the foot peg has actually snapped off from that plate, which means the gear linkage has come away with it. Although it does select gears, I have already tested that. That is not an issue. A new one of these is going to be about 30-40 quid for the whole unit. So that is something that we can do to get this bike riding again. Obviously the fairings a little bit worse for wear. I mean, that one is pretty bashed up. You know, there's a few scuffs and scrapes here or there. But all in all, it's really not in that bad shape. I mean, there could be some hidden surprises along the way, but hey ho, I mean, you know, I traded a 125 for this thing, so there's gonna be some hidden problems. Like my last project, this comes with a key. It's a little bit sticky in the ignition, but it works. Ignition comes on, 36,470 miles on the clock, some fuel, and it runs. That was a bit of a start with the choke on from a cold start, so I can't rev it too much. Plus, I don't really want to annoy my neighbours by revving that thing, but it sounds like it runs good. I mean, I'll have to let it warm up and see how it runs without the choke on, but we'll take a look at that when I actually start getting into the bike. But I just wanted to show you what I traded for. Obviously, I think it's a really good decision to have traded the Lexmoto for that, because realistically, as much as I would have liked to have taken the Lexmoto to 100%, would it really have been that enjoyable watching me have the tyres changed and having the MOT put on it? I don't really know, but that just seemed like a good opportunity to jump ship and switch project and bring something new to the channel. Obviously, going forward, I really want to try my best to not abandon any projects, and if I start it, I want to finish it, no matter how bad it gets. But obviously, there's a few things going on in the background that'll become clear in the next couple of weeks as to why those projects weren't financially viable for me to take all the way at this time. And obviously, I mean, I've come away okay at the end of this deal. I made a couple £100 profit. The bikes have gone to a good home. Hopefully, and obviously I've come away with another bike project as well, so it's definitely all moving in the right direction. So I know I've talked a lot in this video and not much has happened compared to normal, but I hope this brings my series of my 2 incredibly cheap motorbikes to a satisfactory ending for everyone. I hope people are happy with the decision that I made. As much as, like I said, I would have liked to have finished those, we've got to keep moving, we've got to keep things going on, and I think this is a good direction to take things. So thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comments if you think I made a good decision, if you think I made a bad decision, or just whatever you think, really. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the video next week.